This week I put out a tweet going over who I think Everton should go for signing during the summer, so long as we finish in 8th for like European spots and get some real pull in the transfer window. But we're going to go over all of them. I'm going to give you all the stats. Okay, so the way we're going to do this is we're going to go over all of the like mainstream ones that are in the Prem first, because I've got 4 Premier League ones that I want to go over. 2 of them are pretty unrealistic, but I think the other 2 are doable. And then we're going to go into the niche ones that I've found from just being a bum and watching a lot of football. Okay, so number 1, Hugo Bueno. Obviously, I think this is a little bit doable considering Wolves are very likely going down. A lot of people want to go in for him, but we need to spend money on a fullback that can go up the pitch, because right now we have Mykolenko, who is great at defending, but woeful at crossing and things like that. And like he's good at overlapping. He's gotten better at overlapping this season, to be fair. Jake O'Brien, he's trying his best, bless him, but he is 6'6" and he is a centre back. So he's not. Shouldn't be over there on the right. So obviously I've got my stats written down here. So he's got 23 Premier League appearances this year, which is pretty good. He's played almost 1,600 minutes. He's got an assist, 82% pass completion, which Vitaly Mykolenko could only dream of. 2.66 tackles per 90. This guy is there. He's on defense and he's actually attacking. All right, 1.47 interceptions per 90. That's almost an interception and a half per game as a fullback. That's stopping attacks, and he's going up the other end and putting in passes, which is very helpful. He has really good ball progression for a fullback. He's overlapping all the time, which is what we need for Grealish and Ndiaye, because they're getting double teamed because our fullbacks aren't quick enough or dangerous enough to really worry the other team. Very active defensively, and he has very strong like chance creation for a defender. So I would be a big fan of that. 1.29 key passes per 90 for a fullback. That's great, especially in a team as awful as Wolves right now. 1.19 dribbles per 90. That's more than our fullbacks are doing, probably. Mykolenko maybe not, but still, that's absolutely an upgrade. So he's contributing both defensively and offensively, which is extremely useful and exactly what we need, especially if we get Europe. He's got, obviously chance creation from fullback areas. He has the attacking overlaps that we need. He can overlap our wingers. He can put in crosses, which our fullbacks realistically can't do. Usually it gets laid off to one of our DMs that puts in a cross, or to Kiernan Drewsbury Hall, or to a winger, etc. And he can progress the ball from deep. So I would imagine other big clubs, I'd imagine like big 6 clubs are going to go in for him in the window, but let's hope that maybe we're able to get him. Next one is the most unrealistic one on this list, right? So if we want a really good ball-winning midfielder, I'd love if we could get Joe Gomez, but I don't think that's going to happen, right? So he's obviously got incredible like aggressive pressing. He wins all his defensive duels, good ball recoveries, really good interceptions and tackles and everything. He's just a very good like holding midfielder and can double as a deep lying playmaker and just make a lot of key passes. Quite similar to Palhinha or Caicedo. He's just very good. It offers extra protection for the defense, which would be good if we got an attacking fullback. And then he just has a lot of pressing energy and wins the ball a lot. I mainly put this one in because realistically, Gana Gueye's legs are starting to go a lot. He was good in the second half against Burnley this week, but I mean, he's starting to go a little bit, and in fairness, he is about 90, so we're going to need to start looking at more DMs soon. Tim Eric Boonham's there, but he's not really very polished, so it might be worth getting another DM in. Now, here is somebody that I would love to see at Everton Football Club. Is Giannis Konstantelias. I think I'm saying that right. He is so good. I always see clips of this guy just balling in the Greek league, but he's so good. He's a central attacking midfielder, so it would mean that we're able to play Kiernan Drewsbury Hall a little bit farther back, or he can just be a replacement for Drewsbury Hall, like super sub, whatever. He's got 12 goals in 26 matches, 6 league goals, strong European performances when PAOK play in Europe, so 14 goals across all competitions. That's a pretty good output for a midfielder. He's very creative. He does all sorts of flair. He like humiliates defenders, which is, we seem to be going for a lot of that with Iliman and Ndiaye. So it would be nice to have another person to really offer that like worry for the defense on the other team. Good dribbling, very good in tight spaces, so tight space specialist, a bit like iliman and ndiaye, really. And he's an attacking midfielder that scores goals, and I don't know about you, but I like people that score goals. He's kind of similar to Bernardo Silva a little bit. Maybe not the best comparison, but that's kind of who he reminds me of. He can play as a number 10. He can... he's really not super versatile in terms of where he can play. I suppose you could probably play him on the wing, but he's very good as a number 10. It seems like a very Brighton transfer to me, really. I'm actually surprised Brighton haven't gone for him yet, because they're always going for like random ballers that like 4 people have heard of. This guy's like everyone's FIFA wet dream that everyone signs on career mode, and he's great. Like, it would be a really good signing for us. Next up, we have got Diego Gomez, and I'm hoping you guys have seen him if you watch the Prem. He's a box-to-box midfielder for Brighton. We don't really need a box-to-box midfielder because we've got Kiernan, Drewsbury Hall, and I suppose James Garner as well. But this kid is a baller. Dude, he's so good. Really good work rate, really like strong ball carrying, and he presses really well, which is something that we kind of need at the moment, because our midfield gets run through a little bit by bigger teams at the moment, which is, it's okay. We've got a good back line, but you know, James Garner can't do everything. So he adds a lot of energy to the midfield. He's good in transitional play. I think it would be a good signing. I don't think Brighton are going to let him go for anything under like $1 bajillion, because he's been such a revelation. And they like to keep players for a couple seasons and then sell them for a huge amount, so I don't think they'd be willing to sell. But just an idea, just in case. Last one is one that I think is very doable. West Ham are very likely going down, and I really like Malik Diouf. This is kind of a similar avenue to Hugo Bueno. We need an attacking left back. He's got very good pace, overlapping runs. He's an attacking threat, and we need modern fullbacks really badly. He brings a lot of threat. He's decent defensively, but I suppose he's kind of being brought down by a very bad defense at West Ham. So I think he'd do well in our system, really. I'd love us to just play 3 at the back and not have to worry about defensive fullbacks and just play 2 wing backs, but Moyes won't do that, so I think having an attacking fullback like this is probably the route that we need to go. Now we're getting into my fun ones that no one's heard of before, alright? So we're going to give you some background. Nikolai Remberg is my first one. He's a defensive midfielder, good box-to-box. He's good at tackling, intercepting, has a big physical presence. He plays for Hamburg in the Bundesliga, and he's been, like, super solid. Like, just a rock in the midfield. Doesn't make too many mistakes. Doesn't do anything insane, but he'd be a really good squad player for us. He's a proper, like, old-school defensive midfielder. Moyes would probably love him. I think it would be a good deal. He's not a super high price tag, I don't think. Hamburg don't really have a valuation of him that I can find anywhere, but it would be a really good squad player, especially with such a thin squad that we have right now. Now, another midfielder that I have on here is Atakan Karazor at Stuttgart. So the Turkish midfielder here is deep-lying midfielder, good ball progression, solid leadership, so could eventually be a captain, vice-captain, something like that. He's good for rallying the troops, things like that, good presence. Very good defensive positioning, doesn't usually get caught out, and he could kind of anchor our midfield, especially with the fact that Idrissa is going to be gone soon. We do need someone that's like that, and he's not young. He's in his prime, so he could step right in. Really, I think if he could adapt to the league well, that would be super ideal for us. Next one, I've got Alan from Palmeiras, and this is actually someone that we were already going after, so maybe this could happen. I think this is definitely doable. Brazilian central midfielder at Palmeiras. He's very good, very technical, got good progressive passing, strong dribbling. I think he could be very good. Brazilian midfielders usually have a pretty good track record of adapting pretty well in Europe, and he's very promising. I think I saw something about City maybe having a look at him, which is not ideal for us, because if they go for him, then we're never getting him. But I definitely wouldn't complain. He's very good. I think they'd probably put a decent price tag on him. Palmeiras, they usually do when selling to Europe, but would not hear me complaining because he looks pretty solid. All right, now we're getting super niche, okay? So you got to stay with me here. Juninho Capixaba, all right, at Bragantino. So this guy's also in Brazil. A lot older than Alan. I think he's about between 27, 29, that area, I think. He's an attacking left back, right? So somebody that can step right into the team and just do his thing, which would be great because he can keep up with the pace of the Premier League. He's got good pace, good chance creation, good crossing, and good attacking overlaps. Very, very offensive fullbacks. The only worry that I have is that he is not super present defensively, which would not be great in the Prem. We kind of need them to go both ways for fullbacks, but as a squad player at the very least, wouldn't be a huge price tag. I think it would be a good investment. Lastly, we have my personal favorite. Okay, this is one that I would love to bring to the club. Well, my personal favorite of the niche signings that I've pulled up here. All right, Mateo Perez Vinlov. Okay, at Dinamo Zagreb. So it's a prospect. He becoming in kind of similar to Adam Asnew and Tyler Dibbling as a prospect, as a long-term thing. Hopefully not similar to them because they get no game time. But he's a young left back, good technical ability, good progressive passing, and he's young, right? So we get him in early, have him adapt to the Premier League, maybe send him on loan somewhere, would be very good. I think he can develop quickly. He's been immense for Zagreb, apparently. I actually don't watch this one. This is one that I've just heard about. And then I've looked at some of his highlights and whatever, and he looks very, very good. So getting a young player like this to our club early would kind of fall in line with what the Friedkin group and or Moyes are doing with Asnew and Dibbling at the moment, and getting some young talent in there. I think there's not really a huge downside. It's a low price tag. He's a good prospect, and I think that would be super duper helpful. Okay, so I think realistically, I'm going to go over the top 3 most realistic signings that Everton will actually make, and the prices and whatever. So I think we can get Hugo Bueno, first of all. I think that would be good. Probably between 12 and 18 million pounds, which is that's the figure that I've seen recently. Wolves have got a lot of fullbacks. He's not a guaranteed starter every season. He's been very, very good this season, so he might have to pay a little bit more, but I think we'll get a cut price. It's going to be a mix, right? We're going to have to bid more because a lot of teams are going to be going for him, and we're going to get a cut price because Wolves are going down. So it's going to be kind of somewhere in the middle anyway. So I'm thinking probably just under 20 million, maybe around 20 with how good he's been recently. But he's still young, and Wolves have a lot of fullbacks. So I think there's no way he's going to want to go down to the Championship. He's going to go somewhere. I think it would make sense for us to try to go to him. He's Prem proven. He's still developing, and he's an attacking fullback that we lack. So I think it would make sense. And we might be able to get him for under 20 million with them going down. So that would be super, super, super helpful. The next one that I have for the most realistic ones here is actually Giannis Konstantelias. I think this is very doable because if we get Europe, there's not really anything holding him from wanting to stay in the Greek league because obviously they have Europe and we didn't. But if we manage to get Europe, the only thing holding him there is he's Greek and he might want to stay in Greece. But 15 to 22 million is their valuation in pounds. And I think PAOK usually sell their players if a big league club comes in. So, we could offer Premier League football and we could offer potentially Europe as well. So it's still early in his career, so I think this would be, it could be doable. And if he does well in the Prem, we can sell him for 3 times the price in a couple of years. It's really not a huge downside. Us spending, 20 million on somebody like that, if it doesn't go well, boo-hoo. And if it does, then we either have an elite player that we can keep or we can sell him for 60 million, Very creative, a lot of goal contributions, elite dribbler. I know the Greek league doesn't exactly have the best defenders in the world, but you can't argue with goal contributions and flair, so I don't care. I would not mind seeing him there. Lastly, I've gone for Nikolai Remberg from Hamburg. I just think that this is realistic because it's not a huge price. They've only put a price tag of about 8 to 12 million pound on him. He has been very good, and we could definitely outbid most of the clubs that would want him, right? He's a strong defensive midfielder. He's an aggressive tackler, and he's got a good physical presence that I think we could really make use of. So if we want a cheap defensive midfielder with basically only upside, then he's kind of the signing that we would want to make, right? Defensive work rate and affordable depth. We need all of those things, so it realistically makes sense. I think this would be a signing that I would see Everton make, especially under David Moyes. Regardless of whether or not we get transfers that are this good, I just really hope that Everton end up going for good transfers, because if we don't get Europe this year, we need to really, really push to get it next year. I think it's doable to get it this year with how some of the teams that we have got in our schedule, they're very difficult, but some of them are falling off a bit, so I think it's doable, but I'll talk about that stuff in another one. But yeah, these are the transfers that I think would be the most like upside and just generally good value for money, and things that I think Everton will do. Hopefully they do something like that, because I don't know, it'd be nice. But either way, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. I probably am. There's probably great ideas that I haven't thought of. So please let me know in the comments. And yeah, thanks.